All right, this is how to grease your chipper. Chris with Chipper LLC Trailers and Equipment. We're equipment sales, equipment rental. We rent a lot of chippers, and when our chippers go out on a one-day rental, we take care of it for you. If you're renting something for more than a day, you need to go through with your guy and know how to grease your chipper and where to grease your chipper. Start with a little small one right here. This one is one that actually gonna have less grease fittings because it is driven off of its drive motor. So there's not a pillow block bearing over there to support it. So this one is a very simple one. It's got some points on here. So the feed roller itself has got nothing, but you always know that your drum, you got to find where your drum is. So your drum is going to be inside this thing. Inside this is a blade, right? So this blade has got to be supported on two sides. So that means that wherever you find your drum, there's going to be a bearing on each side of that drum. There's this one, the other one's on the other side. It's kind of hard to see. So this is a one-off, so not the most important. So feed roller on this one, there is no grease fitting for it. Drum bearing always has a grease fitting. These over here not as critical. If you want your chute to turn freely, grease it. If you want it to be a pain in the butt, don't grease it. It'll be squeaky squeaky. Let's come over here to another one. All right, find your drum. Your drum's the most important. Typically, like when you start talking about 9 and 12-inch chippers, drum bearings are going to want 5 or 6 shots of grease on each side. So find your drum. Okay, here's my choppy drum. So this one's real easy, right? You've got your drum, you know it's right here. You've got grease fitting on each side. Those are your two important ones. 5 or 6 shots every 8 hours of run time. Always got to have that. This one again is a small one. On this side we've got a drive motor, so the drive motor is here without a pillow block bearing. It's direct shaft, so we don't have to worry about that. I would come to the other side and look here. On the other side, we've now gone up to a little bit bigger, so it can't be just cantilevered and self-supported. So pillow block bearing on the other side. These bearings are small. Don't over grease them. You actually can blow the seals out with those. Just a couple of shots, 1 to 2 shots, and you can just watch. You can see here. When you put your grease in, you will literally see grease coming out here. You've got access to see what's going on. So when you see grease push, you're good, and it should only take 1 to 2. And then on this one, you don't even have to worry about grease up here. They've got Darlin wear strips. Here's a big one behind you. Okay, here's a big high horsepower 12-inch chipper. All right, so if I'm a drum, all right, there we go. There's one side of my drum. Can't get to the other side of it, but if you look right here, can you lean over? If you look right here, oh, there's my other bearing. Okay, this is a pretty good sized chipper, 6 shots in each of these, every 8 hours of run time, no exceptions. All right, now feed rollers. Now this one's gonna be one where you're starting to get bigger, so you gotta have pillow blocks on both sides. So you've got 2 sets of bearings over here, a matching 2 sets over there. They look identical. Each one of these, 1 to 2 shots. If you do 1 and you see grease pushing, you're good. If you don't see it after 1, do 2. Something's wrong if you don't see it after 2. They're not that big of bearings. And then outside of that, there are grease points to adjust on your clutch. And I would say for clutch is specifically, if you have something for a month's rental, you can ask your rental yard, but most rental yards will say, I don't want people greasing the clutch, because if you put too much grease in here and you don't do it at the proper intervals, you'll get grease on the clutch, and that causes clutch to slip. We've had people do that before, and they just see a grease fitting and they start greasing it every day, just like these. These need 6 shots a day. This one is every 10 hours, 1 shot. So you can look on the clutch plate. A lot of times it'll tell you right there, but this is 1 shot a day, and sometimes they will even have one that's 1 shot every 100 hours. So you can't get crazy with that. And you know what? These are all just more of the same. That's really pretty much your basics. You got your small ones. Sometimes the drive motors are strictly cantilevered. Sometimes they got a pillow block on one side. What's doing the work, whether it's a drum or a disc, it doesn't matter. They're always going to have bearings on either side, and they're going to be big, sizable bearings that need like about 6 shots each. That should give you the basics to keep you from having a bearing go out on your rental, or if you're a chipper owner. Thanks for watching.